What's up everyone, this is Lye Yosh. Welcome back to Life, Study, Library. Today we're going to be talking about the science of breakups. Yeah, I'm going to assume that a lot of you have experienced at least one breakup before in your lifetime. And if you haven't, good for you. If you have, we gotta talk. So what do you do after a breakup? Do you cry yourself to sleep? Do you break stuff out of stress? Or do you enter trust issues, alcoholism, and don't care no more phase? There's a variety of things people can do after a breakup, many of which are unhealthy and toxic, like the ones that you see in movies. And more often than not, people get really gut-wrenched, not necessarily because they've lost that particular romantic partner, but more because they've lost a part of their identity as his partner or her partner. Many studies have proven that losing a part of your identity is one of the major social gut punches people can get. And following this loss, both the physical sense and as an identity sense, people enter a coping phase to avoid or struggle against that feeling of loss. And so, how do we cope against this feeling of loss? Typical examples include deleting photos from your phone, throwing away gifts or stuff that you shared with your partner, and a lot of people think this is a good way to forget about them quickly and move on, but this is actually counterproductive in the effort to move on from your ex. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about why this is the case. Why trying to forget about your ex by throwing away stuff is actually doing the very opposite effect from what you want to achieve. But then that doesn't necessarily mean that keeping these items will do you any good. You can't throw them away, but there's a trick to it on how you can actually recover from the breakup. Did that hook you in? Well, in this channel, I'm going to be talking about these interesting scientific and psychological information by implementing data from scientific studies. So if you're interested in watching this video and want to watch more of my other contents, past and future videos, then please subscribe to my channel. I'll be very happy that you did that. Now, let's continue with the video. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, breaking up with your romantic partner equals losing a part of your identity as that person's partner. And that's what's actually hurting you the most. And if you're sharp, you better realize that establishing a whole new identity, of course a healthy one, would solve the whole thing. You will think that, well, creating a new and healthy and beneficial identity and replacing with the old one of you being with the partner, won't that solve everything? If you thought of this, give yourself a pat on the back because, yes, you're right, that is the correct way, but you are getting ahead of yourself. In order to establish a new identity that replaces your loss of your partner, you kind of have to actually get over the breakup in a healthy way. That's the main thing about this video. And so, how do you do this? Answering this question is a study done at Northwestern University in 2015, which took 210 young adults who've all recently went through a breakup with a romantic partner. And what they did was that they made the samples remember in as much detail about their breakup and the entirety of the relationship and made them write about their emotions, thoughts, and feelings regarding the breakup. At first glance, a horrific study, but hear me out. So the first group of samples described in detail about how things turned south in their relationship and how it seemed like a normal type of argument that all couples go through, but then it escalated, and then the stress from the partner affected other areas of their lives like work and school, and soon after they realized that the partner is giving more negatives than positives. And one day during yet another fight, you said that you and the partner should break up and go their separate ways, and ended the relationship. That's what the first group of people did, and the second group simply completed like a psychology test. And then the researchers followed these samples for a total of 9 weeks. And the result provided evidence that the group who described about their ex-partner in detail had a significant improvement over their mental state, and had a higher chance of moving forward from the breakup than the group who did not complete this process. So this means that many people try to overcome their breakup by forgetting about their ex, but what seems to be the case is that you'll have a much greater possibility of getting over your ex and recovering from the breakup if you thought about your ex in detail, preferably talking about them with another person. But then again, you're not going to remember every single detail about your ex, right? You might have forgotten about a detail within the memory, and that's where we come back to the beginning of the video, about whether or not to throw away physical artifacts of your memories of the relationship. So the reason why this happens is because humans have a tendency to store memories in a relatively positive note. We want to remember as much positive memories as possible and as little negative memories as possible. And we oftentimes shift any memory, even if in reality it was a negative memory, we shift it into a positive one, therefore making it inaccurate and distant from what truly happened. Which means, if we throw away photos or gifs of the past relationship, only the biased and inaccurately positive memories will remain in our head. And that's why people often can't get over their ex. They can't move on to a new relationship because they say stuff like, I can't be with you yet because I still remember about my ex. They say nonsense like this. When we see physical gifts or photos, our memory box is triggered, and we remember stuff that we didn't before looking at the object. Additionally, more accurate memories that might be negative, these memories enter our mind, allowing us to remember not just the positive, but the negative aspect of the relationship. For example, by looking at the object, you might say that, I didn't remember until now, but come to think of it, it was when my ex bought me this teddy bear that I kind of noticed he was not being a really good person. He was actually trying to manipulate me by buying me gifts. I should have noticed he was trying to control me by doing seemingly nice things. Only when you took a look at the teddy bear once again, you remember the big red flag your ex was maniacally waving. So, physical items give us a way more accurate memory of the relationship, and that's why it's important to keep them rather than throw them away, so that you can remember about the negative part of your ex, possibly learning from those negative memories that you yourself would have never remembered, and get over your ex and move on to better things in life or find a new and better partner. So, in summary, the most effective way to get over a past relationship is to remember as much detail about the ex, and negative stuff will come up in your memory as it should, because you don't like your ex anymore. And physical items help this process greatly by giving you often unbiased and accurate memories of the relationship. So that's why it's a good idea if you keep those items until, at least until you're sure that you've gotten over them. So I suggest you try this out. So that was the entirety of the topic of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And one more thing, what should you do after you got over your ex? The answer is to not make the same mistake and waste your precious time dating a garbage partner again. And it would be nice if there was a technique that you can learn about how to detect these toxic people that you should never make a romantic or platonic relationship with. These toxic romantic partners or friends can often be described using this term called the dark triad. The dark triad is basically a culmination of these 4 different personality traits: psychopathy, Machiavellianism, narcissism, and sadism. Psychopathy is an inability to understand, so the lack of empathy in a relationship, which is very, very toxic. Narcissism is an inflated self-love, so the partner is going to love themselves more than you. Machiavellianism, in simple terms, is the tendency to sacrifice others to gain their self-interest. So in the romantic field, a partner can betray and sacrifice your love and trust to cheat on you. And finally, sadism is the tendency to enjoy other people's misery. So these are the dark triad, even though it's 4 things. And knowing all these in terms is good, but you usually don't have enough time or opportunity to carefully look at the person and look at, how much they scale at these 4 personality traits, and whether they make a good romantic partner or a friend. But worry not, because there is this one really easy and quick technique that can straight up tell you that this person is toxic. And you can learn about this technique by watching my other video that's called Look for This One Trait. Quickest and easiest way to detect toxic people. If you're interested, you can jump to that video by clicking the link down at the description down below. I have many more other stuff you can do at the same place. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like my videos and comment on what you want to watch in the future. This has been Life Study Library, hosted by me, Lye Yosh. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my other videos. Bye.